Shalom. I want to begin a lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double blessing and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who told us the truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. Back up with another lesson through the spirit. Just want to come at y'all with something real quick. Man, they definitely are. What's the word I'm looking for? The execution, they definitely executing that plan as far as persecuting Jake, man. Right, and they not bullshitting. It says 1,700 National Guard troops to assist ICE in 19 states, including South Carolina, right? You have that report. I got another report on here. Salakia.
President Donald Trump.
And I just want to say fair use. Under the Copyright Act of 1976, fair use. I'm not using this video for monetary gain. Any article or video that I use in this lesson is not for monetary gain. It's for educational and edification purposes only. So I just want to make that clear. Salaki. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Mobilizing up to 1,700 National Guardsmen across Indiana and 18 other states. The move comes following a request from governors across the country asking for additional support to address civil unrest. Fox News reports the deployment includes personnel from multiple states, with some already arriving in affected areas. The National Guard will assist law enforcement in maintaining order and protecting public safety. The decision comes amid ongoing protests and demonstrations nationwide. President Donald Trump is mobilizing up to.
Now, does this come as a surprise to us?
17.
No, because we've been telling you all that these things will come to pass, right? We've been saying that these things were going to happen in the future. That it was a for sure possibility, right? This is the other one right here. You can see all of them are talking about the deployment of the military in the news. It says U.S. National Guard troops in Washington to begin carrying weapons. U.S. Guard troops patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. as part of what President Trump said was his crackdown on crime will begin carrying weapons on Sunday night. Two officials said the exact number of troops who would carry their weapons are fluid, but they will either carry their M17 pistols or M4 rifles. According to the officials who spoke on condition of anonymity, as they were not authorized to discuss the matter, right? They got the task force to jump out boys on y'all. Says hundreds of unarmed National Guard troops have been in Washington streets for the past 2 weeks, and those are military. That's military type equipment. For the past 2 weeks after Trump declared a crime emergency in the district. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth last week authorized the troops to carry weapons. The Guard's Joint Task Force D.C. said in a written statement on Sunday that its personnel will only use force as a last resort and solely in response to an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. Okay? Like I said in my lesson last night, my camp lesson, is that they've been talking about going from city to city and putting them down in these Jake cities that are infested with high crime rates. And they are already talking about it back home, like I said, in St. Louis. I seen another video concerning that not too long ago. It says U.S. officials confirms Pentagon planning a National Guard deployment in Chicago. Mary Johnson responds. It says a U.S. official confirmed, and I already played this video on my lesson previously, confirmed to ABC News Sunday that the Pentagon is drafting plans for the potential use of National Guard troops in Chicago. A Pentagon spokesperson said, "We won't speculate on further operations. The department is a planning organization and is continuously working with other agency partners on plans to protect federal assets and personnel." The mayor says he's in contact with county and state officials, but says he's heard nothing from the White House. He called a possible National Guard deployment in Chicago costly, illegal, and unconstitutional. So I could see some of these governors well, not governors, because governors for the state, but these mayors trying to have a say-so in it. But the governor should have authority to overrule that. It says some National Guard units in Washington are now carrying firearms and escalation of Trump deployment, right? So, like we said, man, this isn't necessarily anything too crazy when it comes to like martial law and stuff like that. It's not martial law at the moment, but it could lead to that, you know. But it just reminds me of the draconian decrees. Let me see. The King's Decree. This is Daniel 6 and 20. So like, let me see. No, this is not it. Oh, yeah, here we go. The book of Daniel, chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, "Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, say of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not." So these firm decrees, man, they call Trump, Donald Nero Trump. They call him Nero, right? It says, "We are all in agreement, we administrators, officials, high officers, advisors, and governors, that the king should make a law that will be strictly enforced." And these are the times that we're coming upon, man. You know, like I was saying, man, there's like 30,000 some people, I want to say, give or take. Y'all can look to see what the actual number is that was talking about we're talking about joining ICE, man. And that was like from a few weeks ago. I seen a post on that. And then the fact that the National Guard is getting involved and being deployed to these different cities, it says a lot, right? Because you have these groups of people that were attacking ICE members at one point, And on top of that, ICE, a lot of things are changing around that, even that whole dynamic. It says, give orders that for the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the den of lions, right? That was in the NLT. And that just reminds me of that because we're going to see harsher and harsher rules or laws that get put forth as the days go on. Because once there's an uproar in the people, you know what I'm saying, once that shit hits the fan, they're going to have to declare a state of martial law, right? And America's going to become a police state. The elder Apostle Tahar did a lesson on that not too long ago as well. I want to say within the last week or two, he did a lesson concerning that. It says, so, these, I'm telling you, man, they finna start sweeping these streets up. And these young niggas, they trying to get y'all up out the way, as well as gentrify these different hoods and whatnot, right? So the persecution of Jake is indeed in trouble, man. Now, I'm not saying we're in Jacob's trouble because, according to the scriptures, Jacob's trouble is like a time that we've never seen, or that like a time that has never been seen on earth since there was a group or a nation of people, right? But we are in the beginning stages of that. Like the elder brothers have been saying, Jake has been in trouble all around the world. We just haven't seen it in America. We're starting to see that in America, man. We're starting to see the beginning phases of that in America, right? So once that happens, because you will know when we're in Jacob's trouble. I'm gonna just say that you will know. You won't be able to go outside. You won't be able to go about your daily life. You won't even be able to go to work, right? You ain't gonna be able to do certain things that you would normally be able to do. You'll know if the Spirit is working with you and if the Lord have blessed you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You will know when we're in Jacob's trouble, okay? There's no doubt about that. But this is definitely the precursor, like I said, man. It says, woe to the world, and this is 2 Ezra 15, in verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have, we could really stop right there, man. So basically what this is saying is, starting from verse 14, man, woe means destruction. So destruction, the Lord's about to bring destruction upon the whole world. And most importantly, Babylon, the great America. The sword and the destruction is sent as plagues and scourges by the Lord for the punishment of the wicked. And you're going to have groups of people, whether it be race wars, right? Because we'll see that over here in America. Blacks versus whites, all this other stuff. Political wars, red versus blue. Any type of wars you can think of, man. You have wars against nations right now, right? Yemen and Israel are going at it with Iran being very close to that. Ukraine, Russia, all of the whole nine, America and Venezuela. So it says, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and sedition means revolting, right? So with things like this happening, man, you know, niggas, hey, man, there's no telling the outcome of how Jake is going to react to stuff like this, right? If they be a dumbass and try and fight the government, or they just go ahead and sit their ass down. But nonetheless, you know, sedition among men more so is them, you know what I'm saying, coming against elected officials, right? And really the government. So you already have that type of stuff going on. That's why he said that these, like in that video, the protests is getting out of control, stuff in the city's getting out of control, all this other stuff. That's why he deployed them. As a matter of fact, and most importantly with the ICE stuff, they're deploying that type of stuff to help them out with wrapping you niggas up, man. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So there's gonna come a time where you're gonna see rebellion from the people, man. They're gonna be like, fuck that shit. We revolting, and they're not gonna care what the penalty is in that time. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. And that's as far as traveling, right? Whether they can't because gas is too high, they can't because the streets are packed with abandoned cars, whether that's because you can't go outside for martial law, which is more so what I was getting at. But it's all of the above, man. Any of those scenarios could happen. You know what I'm saying? Gates and bridges maybe. Bridges and highways may be cut off. All types of things. There's different things you have to account for. But hey, what do we know, man? That's just according to the common folk, the normal people, Christians. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right? So a lot of these cities are gonna have pride to where they want to defend their home, defend their cities and whatnot. You can't come into this town, you can't come into this city, all this other stuff. And then another aspect of that is with that pride, man, people are gonna start looting and whatnot, taking shit and taking things into their own hands. You know, people are gonna start rioting, people are gonna start looting, they're gonna go house to house. They're gonna start losing their marbles after they haven't had something for a few days or a week. It's all out hell, chaos. And that's why it says after that, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? And you know, famine's gonna kick in, so that's gonna play a big part in that as well. Now, let me get that in there.
Country to help ICE with President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants in the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorizing the support through mid-November. The Pentagon telling News Nation that troops will be deployed to 19 states that you see.
See, now if you just think about what cities that are in there, man. You know, you got St. Louis and KC, you got Memphis and Arkansas. You got Memphis and Tennessee, right? Little Rock and Arkansas. You got New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Louisiana. You got all the different cities in Florida. Georgia, you got Atlanta. It's all different things, man. And Gary in Indiana, you know.
Here on the map, News Nation's Libby Dean live at the White House. So, Libby, you just spoke with the border czar. What did he say?
Yeah, Kelly, this is one of Trump's top immigration officials, and we were the first to actually learn the operational details on those nearly 2,000 National Guard troops soon to be deployed to the 19 states, and what they're going to do is aid ICE operations. Here's Trump's border czar Tom Homan exclusively to News Nation.
And they ain't finna be rounding up. They not finna just be rounding up Northern Kingdom. They about to start getting you niggas out of here too. I'm telling you, man.
explaining what those operations will look like.
If it doesn't require immigration authority to make an arrest, they can do things like transportation, infrastructure, intelligence, and support mechanism, and that's what they're going to do. And that puts more ICE officers badging guns on the street because they're going to do the duties that don't require that badging gun in immigration authority. So they're a force multiplier. It helps us arrest the bad guy quicker, and it makes it more efficient.
So what we were learning even before this interview with Trump's top immigration official is the Pentagon confirming earlier today to News Nation that 1,700 National Guard troops are going to be mobilized in the coming weeks to 19 states. You're looking at those states on your screen. Some of them include Alabama, Florida, Texas, Virginia, but 19 states in total. And Texas is actually expected to see the largest Guard presence. And the Pentagon stating operations will continue at least through mid-November, and they could go further than that. Now, Homan didn't get into the specifics of what this will actually look like, but he did say that it is possible in certain cities that these National Guard troops could arrest alleged illegal immigrants, and it could just not specifically be ICE making those arrests. So that's going to be something we're going to be watching for. But also some news here, Homan vowing to follow the judge's order to shut down Alligator Alcatraz. This was some news. The immigration detention facility in Florida is, of course, what Alligator Alcatraz is. And Homan saying that they will ultimately comply with the judge's order to shut that down, but that they will appeal it. So we'll see what that looks like moving forward, Kelly.
We certainly will. All right, Libby Dean, thank you very much.
At CPI, we custom.
All right, you're not getting no promotion on my video. But yeah, man, that's the update as far as that goes. That's all I got for the moment. I was thinking about doing a lesson on you damn hoes tonight, but maybe it depends on, man. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I don't. If the spirit allows it, we'll see, man. But this is more important and more pressing nonetheless. So, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying to those out there listening and watching. I'm going to close it off there. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double blessing and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. And until next time, I say Shalom Israel, Shalom. And as always, we're one day close to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing. Shalom.